Good day, my fellow TBCans. You're welcome again to our live broadcast today. And this is the voice of the TBC Royal Ambassador. The name remains Olakone Johnson from Nigeria. You're welcome one more time. Today we shall be examining the topic TBC is leading the charge on a better tomorrow. TBC is leading charge on a better tomorrow. This is pertinent because of the prevalent situation of things in the world today. Many families are dying of hunger. There are many nations that are today fighting war because of poverty. And there are many nations being ravaged by the activities of terrorists engaged by some elite to cause chaos in a nation so that they can hold on to power. And those people who offer themselves as terrorists, in most cases, joined because of hunger, joined because of abject poverty. So when they are giving cars or some few amount of money, they go about killing others because the elite promise them that when they get to power, or as much as they hold on to power, they'll be meeting up with their needs. They go on to making a life a living hell for others. And that is why TBC has decided to lead this charge to ensure a better tomorrow for all the citizens of this world, for all in the whole world. It may also interest you to know that the wealth of the whole world today is being controlled by just as much as about 13 families in the world, controlling the central bank of every nation, just about 13. And you can imagine. And also, when you look at the number of elites in the world, it's only about 1% of the total population of the world that are elite. And these are the people that dictates what happens. They are the one that creates artificial scarcity. And so for this, we'll find out that everyone today is living in abject poverty because some people have decided to create artificial scarcity. But TBC has decided to look into this and say, no, we can change the world. And TBC has come up with this idea of putting people on the platform of making money. So permit me today to share the screen so that we can understand better what admin is saying on this topic. Yeah. Here we are. TBC is leading the charge on a better tomorrow. And this is the topic we shall be examining in the next 30 minutes. The lady you see here, this very young lady here, as at that time was about a 12-year-old girl, and she silenced the world just for 60 minutes. In 60 minutes, the whole world was silenced. Or in 6 minutes, the whole world was silenced. In 6 minutes. If you have time, please get to the blog from the millioncoin.info. Get to the blog there, and then you can read about TBC is leading the church on a better tomorrow. You see the video and you can watch. As I watched this popular video for the very first time, I could not help the tears from rolling down my cheeks, blurring my vision for most of it. The profound truths coming out of the mouth of this 12-year-old girl resonates with even greater force today. Now that it has been decades since she spoke then, in many ways, the issues they raised in 1992 have progressively gotten worse since then. What she said then today is still ringing bell. Why? Because most of those things that she said then today has gotten worse more than ever before. You see the poverty level then that we'll talk about. Is it the child abuse that we will talk about or child labor? Today everything has worsened. The table have turned for several Collins Suzuki. Uh, then she was a Sarah Collins Suzuki. Now, then, if you want to also read more about that, you can get to this very link here, and then you'll be able to get to know more about her. The girl speaking as a girl then in this video, addressing adults about a world filled with children and what the responsibilities of the adults are regarding them. Then in 1992, she was a very young lady, and then as an activist, about 12 years old then. And then she was speaking to adults then in the garden of world leaders, talking to them about the fact that we have children that filled up the world, and also that they are the leaders of tomorrow. And what are the responsibility of adults? And that the adults have neglected their responsibilities and leaving no hope for these children tomorrow. Today, she is now an adult herself. She is about 38 years old now and a mother of two children. And she continues also to be an activist. Below, you will find the entire text of her speech, which we are going to go through very shortly. Which will hopefully spread to every soul on earth. Allow me to take a few quotes from it and tie it together with the overaching mission of the billion coin community from a child's perspective. Now, before we go much further, then this lady today still continue to be an activist. Why? Because most of the things she stressed then, even up till now that she's an adult, has not been looked into by world leaders, by many nations today. They have not taken it serious to find solution to those issues, those challenges that she raised them. And thank God, even up till now, she still remains an activist. Let's look at some of those things she said then. She said, coming up here today, now I'll be speaking in her word. Coming up here today, I hope I have no hidden agenda. I am fighting for my future. Losing my future is not like losing an election or a few points on the stock market. I'm here to speak for all generations to come. I am here to speak on behalf of the starving children around the world who cries go unheard. This was the lady talking, and she said he had come with no hidden agenda. She's not coming up to speak to those world leaders, maybe or to be known or to be seen as a hero or a heroine. He said she has come to fight for her future, and that when she loses her future cannot be compared with losing an election. You lose an election, you can come on again next time and also still contest. But when you lose your future, you can't find it. The losing a future also cannot be compared with losing a few points on the stock market. But according to her, she was there to speak for generations, to speak for those on behalf of starving children. You Google today, you see so many children that are scavenging here and there. Some of them, you look at them, you can count their ribs. Why? Because nobody cares for them, because of starvation, because of hunger, and because of poverty. And these ones cries, but the world will not hear them cry. But thank God for her that she could come and represent them, at least speak to world leaders. Those first words makes my heart swell up and my eyes water. And I also believe that you are having the same experience as you are listening to me today. That there are many children there who are dying daily, who could have been helped with just few coins, would have been helped. They would have been living. Some sick, no money to go to the hospital, eventually they will die. But thank God for this lady speaking to what it is. That I have traveled quite a bit, even to many third world countries. I have personally witnessed starving children, and they are everywhere. If you look at this lady, probably she must have come from at least an average family or a wealthy family to have been able to afford to travel to nations. Now, one thing that should come to mind, to our minds today, is that this lady is compassionate. Is somebody that have the love of others at heart. If she has the money to move from one nation to the other or have somebody to sponsor her, then she would have been contented. She doesn't need to fight for anyone. But this is somebody that have the mind of God, the compassion for others. And then after seeing those children, he decided to fight for them. What about you? Are you having such hearts to fight for others? Are you having such hearts that I want to help others? I want to see how I end poverty. I want to see how I'll be able to meet the need of my immediate neighbors, my people living in my environment. If you have that, and then you look around you, you still don't have the money to do that. But thank God, today there is a way out. There is a way out. TBC is here to show us the way out. And according to her, she said, let's continue. I've personally witnessed starving children, and they are everywhere. A malnourished child is even more common than starving children and is practically just as bad. Now, some of us will look at what is the difference between malnourished child and starving child. The starving child is the one that have nobody to even cater for them, nothing, and then they are starving to death. They may be able to scavenge here and there and get just one square meal, not three, just one meal per day, anywhere. I mean, they may get one today, in the next 3, 4, 5 days, they have not gotten anyone. Those are the ones starving. Even to get water is not easy for them. They can. Are the ones that still get what to eat, maybe daily, but They don't eat what is right. Whatever comes, that's what they eat. They are malnourished. And according to her, she said, this is practically just as bad as the same. Okay? I've seen children being used to raise money in the streets. I talked about this during the intro, talking about child labor. I've seen children being used to raise money in the street as beggars, and apparently, many of these children have been kidnapped from their parents for that purpose. There are many children like that, they are kidnapped, then they take them to another uh, state or another country and then ask them to be begging. If you don't beg, then you don't have what to eat. So they use them to raise money. These children will go and beg for money. They bring it to those adults who will sit back at home and then cook a little and give them to eat. So you don't go out, don't eat the next meal. What a shame. And most of them are kidnapped from their parents. It's a disgusting sight to witness firsthand, especially when some of those children have been purposely maimed so that they could collect even more coin. Some of them, they beat them so that they will not cry, remove one eye, or break their leg so that they could look crippled, and then to draw people's compassion, and then they use them to make money. What about child prostitution? This has become commonplace in some parts of the world. Some children have not only lost their future, they have lost their childhood. They still remain in the figure of a child, but they are an adult based on what they have passed through. These are all the menace that has been eaten deep in the fabric of the world up to today. Find out that many children are subject to or subjected to many hardships while they are still very young, subjected to child labor, subjected to uh, human farming, subjected to kidnap. Some are even victims of money rituals. When people look at, I'm not getting enough money from this begging business, they take these children and kill them for money rituals, not for the purpose of getting out of poverty. Now, by the time this lady spoke the following words, the tears were rolling down. Did you have to worry of these things when you were my age? All this is happening before our very eyes. And yet, we act as if we have all the time we want and all the solutions. I am only a child and I don't have all the solutions. I don't. I want you to realize neither of it. I want you to realize neither you do. You don't have the solution too. I don't have the solution. You don't know how to fix the holes in one ozone layer, but you don't also know how to bring the salmon back up in a dead stream. You don't know how to bring back an animal now extinct. And you can't bring back the forest that once grew where there now is a desert. If you don't know how to fix it, please stop breaking it. These are her words. If we try to analyze these words, you will understand. Now, say, did you have to worry of these things when you were my age? That is, these things that are happening now. That was as at 1992. When you were 12 years old, talking to the adult, do they need to worry about it? Because those things did not happen at the age of those adults. And they say all these things now are happening before our own eyes. Yet we act as if we have all the time we want and all the solution. As he now began, I am only a child and I don't have all the solution. I don't. And he said, I want you also to realize that even you as adults, you don't also have the solution. Now, what is it? Ozone layer, depletion of the ozone layer. He was asking them now, as adults, do you know how to fix those holes? And all this happens because of the activities of adults, because of the greenhouse emissions, because of the emission of some gases that has perforated the ozone layer. And now we see the heat we're experiencing now in the world as a result of ozone layer depletion. So who knows how to fix it? Nobody. As he said again, asking another up in a dead stream. Salmon is a kind of fish. Now asking now that because of all our activities, because of oil spillage and others, that the streams have become dead. Most of those aquatic lives inside were dead by then. And how do we bring them back to life? Can we do that? These are as a result, or these things happen as a result of the activities of others. He went further again to ask, you don't know how to bring back an animal now extinct. We kill animal anyhow till we have killed some species of animals that cannot be found on earth today. How do we create another one? It's impossible. And you can't bring back the forest that once grew where there is now a desert. Like in Nigeria now, there's Lake Chad that's been a source of income for people living around that place. People fish, they use the water for irrigation. But because of desert encroachment, the size of Lake Chad in Nigeria now has reduced to about 1/100th of its original size. That's shrunk. So the aquatic life inside has died, just a few remaining, and also the water has reduced in volume. Now, the farmers that were using such for the irrigation of their farmland now wouldn't be able to have enough from Lake Chad because of our own activities. Now, there are forests before, and because people were cutting down these uh, trees for fossil fuel, using them as firewood, has turned those forests into deserts today. And nothing thrives in a desert. If we continue like this, generations yet unborn will meet nothing on the earth and would have made the whole earth a living hell for them. And I say, please, if you don't know how to fix it, please stop breaking it. And this is a challenge to many of us and as adults. Yes, she's right. If we don't know how to fix something, at least we can stop breaking it and making it even worse. Then, like an arrow to the heart, he speaks the truth. Here, you may be delegates of your government, he's still talking, business people, organizers, reporters, or politicians. But really, you are mothers and fathers, sisters and brothers, aunts and uncles, and all of you are someone's child. If you had a pleasant childhood, be grateful. If you had a difficult childhood, may it give you the strength to make a better way for your children. Always remember that you were once a child too. You counted on the adults in your life to tend to your needs, and you are responsible for the next generation. If you claim that you simply don't have enough to share with others, that you are barely getting by yourself, then TBC can change that. Even if all you can afford is the purchase of just one TBC coin, then buy it and be grateful. Because within that one TBC coin is the potential of enormous wealth for you. You no longer have to waste your precious life on the excuse of not having enough. The world is full of every resource needed to provide comfort and security to every man, woman, and child on it. TBC is coming on board now to solve those problems that this then little girl has uh, enumerated. At least stop poverty, stop starvation, stop hunger. Now, to believe otherwise means you have fully embraced the great deception that scarcity is real. If you don't believe that one TBC coin can change your life, can turn your life around, can make you wealthy, then it means that your mind has been fully uh, hypnotized, so to say, by the elite to believe that scarcity is real. Scarcity is not real. The deception of the devil, the deception of the elite, the deception of only a few that want to mortgage the life of others for them to live in affluence. Shortages come and go. The scarcity is an artificial device used against the masses to kill them and to enslave them. That is, in fact, the purpose of the devil. Say the devil comes to kill, to steal, and to destroy. So when the thief, the devil comes, he's coming to steal, he's also coming to kill, he's also coming to destroy. But Christ said, I, the Son of Man, has come to give them life. Not only that, in that life is abundant. That's why I said, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prospereth. So in giving us life, he wants us to prosper. So he said, I have come to give them life, and also that they may have it what? More abundantly. So the mind of Christ is to give us an abundant life. We are to live in a life of affluence, a life of abundance, a life of prosperity. Are you a slave? Do you want to be a slave? These are questions you need to answer within yourself. The real truth is that humanity does not need money. An awakened humanity will operate without the time consuming and cumbersome activities associated with money. TBC leads the pathway to a world filled with empowered individuals living meaningful lives, and joy will be the natural products on an existence driven by pure love. TBC is part of a bridge from the world today to a much better world tomorrow. TBC, a form of money, will flood in the resources desired so fast for each of you that it will become self-evident to all that the resources were always there, and we only needed to change our mind to access them. Like we have had now, we don't need money. Humanity, the truth is that we don't need money. All that we need is have our mind change and for us to love one another and walk in pure love. But thank God today, TBC is leading that pathway, and it is a form of money. When this flood the resources desire so fast for each of you, it will become self-evident. We will see it clearly that these resources have always been there. We only needed to change our mind to access them. Now, may the voice of this 12-year-old girl be heard in your heart from now on, stirring it to always take positive actions toward a brighter future, not just within the walls of your home, but for your part in the whole world. Chris Kingle, that is the creator of the Billion Coin, see text from the below. Say, hello, I am Seban Suzuki speaking for ECHO, that is the Environmental Children Organization. We are a group of 12 and 13-year-old trying to make a difference. Vanessa Suti, Morgan Gisler, Michelle Quigg, and myself. That's Suzuki talking there. We've raised all the money to come here ourselves. Those children decided to go around and raise the money again. To come 5,000 miles to tell you adults, you must change your ways. Coming here today, I have no hidden agenda. I am fighting for my future. Losing my future is not like losing an election, like a few points on the stock market. That's repeating what I said before. I said, I am here to speak for all generations to come. I'm here to speak and speak on behalf of the starving children around the world whose cries goes unheard. I am here to speak for the countless animals dying across this planet because they have nowhere left to go. I am afraid to go out in the sun now because of the holes in our ozone. I am afraid to breathe the air because I don't know what chemicals are in it. I used to go in. I used to go out fishing in Vancouver, my home with my dad, until just a few years ago. We found the fish full of cancers. And now we hear of animals and planets going into extinct every day, vanishing forever. In my life, I have dreamt of seeing the great herds of wild animals, jungles, and rainforests, full of the birds and butterflies. But now I wonder if they will even exist for my children to see. Did you have to worry of these things when you were my age? All this is happening before our eyes, and yet we act as if we have all the time we want and all the solutions. I'm only a child. I don't have all the solutions. I don't. I want you to realize that you do. You don't know how to fix the holes in our ozone layer. You don't know how to bring salmon back up in the Dead Sea. You don't know how to bring back an animal now extinct. And you can't bring back the forest that once grew where there is now a desert. If you don't know it, know how to fix it, please stop breaking it. That is giving us a full test. And it's going for that. I'm only a child, yet I know we are all part of a family. 5 billion strong, in fact, 30 million species strong, and borders and government will never change that. Only child, yet I know we are all in this together and should act as one single world towards one single goal. In, in my anger, I am not blind. And in my fear, I am not afraid of telling the world how I feel. In my country, we make so much waste. We buy and throw away, buy and throw away, buy and throw away. And yet, northern countries will not share with the needy. Even when we have more than enough, we are afraid to share. We are afraid to let go of some of our wealth. In Canada, we live in privileged life with plenty of food, water, and shelter. We have watches, bicycles, computers, and television, and the likes. The list goes on for 3 days. 2 days ago, here in Brazil, we were shocked when we spent time with some children living on the streets. This is what one child told us. I wish I was rich. If I were, I would give all the street children food, clothes, medicine, shelter, and love, affection. If a child on the street who has nothing is willing to share, why are we who have everything still so greedy? I can't stop thinking that these are children of my own age, that it makes a tremendous difference where you are born, that I could be one of those children living in the favela of Rio. I could be a child starving in Somalia, or victims of war in the Middle East, or a beggar in India. I am only a child, yet I know. For all the money spent on war was spent on finding environmental answers, ending poverty, and in finding treaties. What a wonderful place this earth would be. At school, even in kindergarten, you teach us how to behave in the world. You teach us not to fight with others, to work things out, and to respect others, to clean up our mess, not to hurt other creatures, to cheer, not be greedy. Then why do you go out and do the things you tell us not to do? Do not forget why you are here attending these conferences. Who you are doing this for. We are your own children. You are deciding what kind of a world we are growing up in. Parents should be able to comfort their children by saying, everything is going to be all right. It is not the end of the world. And we are doing the best we can. But don't think you can say that to us anymore. Are we even on your list of priorities? My dad always says, you are what you do, not what you say. Well, what you do makes me cry at night. You, you grown ups say you love us, but I challenge you. Please make your actions reflect your word. Thank you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have listened to the words of uh, Stephen Collins, now Suzuki. And we have heard from her how she lamented about what is happening in the world today. But thank God, TBC is here today to rescue others from poverty. Let me stop sharing there. Now, to as many of us that have been able to come on board the TBC, or you that by chance you are reading or listening to this, my YouTube live broadcast, or those of you who will still check it in the future, I want to congratulate you for coming in contact with this live broadcast. This is a calling for you to remain steadfast with the TBC. Let us come together and change the world. If you have not yet joined, please find out how you can join this TBC. It's all about gift, all about people with white hearts who are willing to change the story of the world, end poverty. You can Just meet anyone and ask them about the billion coin. Or you can also access us via this live broadcast, and through the link, you can ask questions. It is high time we team up to end poverty. Let's join the Billion Coin community to end poverty today and help children out of this situation. Let's save our future. Let's save the future of our children. Let's make the world a better place to live again. Together we can. Together we can. And I remember today in our meeting when we say TBC, our answer is power to the people or empowering the people. TBC is out to empower you and to help you out of poverty. You are welcome on board this great movement. Thank you one more time. I believe you have gained one or two things in our broadcast today. You're listening to the voice of the TBC Royal Ambassador. Olakunle Johnson is the name, all the way from Nigeria. I want to say, I love you. See you at the top. Thanks for listening. Bye. God bless you.